Hi, this is Codeweaver, and I'm back for some Crying Suns. This is part two of, I guess, the second stream, third stream maybe? Part two, anyway, of chapter 5 of Crying Suns, and it's fairly blind because I've never been in this chapter before. So, originally I'd intended to play right from chapter 1, but it turns out that I can't chapter select until I finish the thing. And it started me out in chapter 4 where I'd gotten to. That was last stream or two. And now I'm going to continue on with what is, I think, the final chapter in this game. I suggest you go back and watch the previous chapters. And in fact, I suggest you go and get the game yourself and play it if you like. There are spoilers in this at this point, sort of end game spoilers for the mysterious story. There's also some spoilers for incidental quests and the like, which are somewhat less important. But just so you know, spoiler warning. So let's just pop over to the cam, and we're going to leap right back into this without any sort of drama, because we were in fact just about ready to start the third sector of chapter 5, which every chapter is broken up into several sectors. It's a little bit like FTL in that regard. In fact, this is very arguably a spiritual successor to FTL, even though it wasn't made by the same guys. So let's take a look here. I'm just going to do one quick check to see whether the audio is in fact working correctly. I'm always a little bit paranoid about that. But it seems to be coming through. Audio's coming through, and I can see the videos coming through. So let's just get on with this. So we're at the entrance. We have quite a bit of fuel. That should be enough to get us through most of the sectors, and we'll pick up fuel as we go. We need to get a lot more scrap to sort of flesh out the last bits of our ship, and it wouldn't hurt to get some more ships, maybe one other weapon or two. So let's see what we have. This direction we have an abandoned auto factory that could enable us to get some more equipment. And a mercenary outpost. We do have a fair few mercenaries, but the combination of these two means that we can risk a lot and still buy back our mercenaries if we need to, if any of them die. But there's no encounters that direction. Over here we have the abandoned auto factory as well, but no mercenaries, but we have a couple of anomalies, so it's riskier in the sense that we can't replenish our supplies. And we don't have the ability to look far enough forward because I haven't expanded that capacity, because we've been kind of resource starved. We've kind of been taking it as a bit of a crapshoot. We can see the anomalous signals, and of the paths that we can take, one of them gives us nice access, a fairly easy access to 6 anomalies before leaving. There's another path here that takes us through 6 anomalies before leaving. Among these, not sure how much it matters. This one doesn't necessarily have a whole lot on it. It's only got the 2 places to arrive at. That one has 5, which is nice. There's 2 anomalies on there. So here's my thought. I'm going to go through Zheng, tentatively. I'm going to go through Zheng, whatever this is, and then up here and then over. And if we have enough resources, we'll pop down to here. Like, I'll make the choice as to how to deal with this when we get through here. Now, I can either cut through either one of these 2 at the end. Is that a good choice? Yeah, because I want to kind of go through this system. Possibly. But I don't want to go... I might be able to get away with not going straight there. So let's go through Zheng. Alright, unidentified ship, sir. It couldn't be. You survived. Somehow I should have known. Who is this? You don't recognize me, Admiral? It's true that we're not vitrified. Maybe that's why. We're the survivalists. Okay, so the survivalists in this game, very, very quick recap. They know the Earth that was. We don't know much about Earth in this timeline. They are the faction that apparently wanted to return humanity to a pre-robotic society. Apparently society had been become very, very heavy dependent on robots. Also very, very dependent on some complicated drugs. And so they're sort of, let's return Earth to its, humanity to its roots. And apparently we were part of the army that decided to, under the direction of the Emperor, decided to try to stop them. Now, our Emperor may or may not have betrayed us. Another Admiral Okonkwo, who was apparently one of our wartime buddies, seems to be ostensibly in charge. Anyway, let's get on with this. We'll pick this up as we go along. Go back and watch the previous videos if you want all the history that we discovered anyway. But I thought that we were dead. Well, you did kill 99.9% of us, that's true, but unfortunately for you, not us. We've been searching for the Earth Folder. Our prophecies tell us it is here. I never thought in a million years we'd have a chance to kill you too. Alright, so the folders are these things that enable us to do the warps between the major systems. So apparently there's a, I guess you could call it a Mass Effect gate, or you could call it a Stargate, or whatever, but it's a way to get to the next sort of two major regions of space, not these little minor junctions. So, what are we going up against? Mostly fighters, so frigates are our best option. We got the Piercer Laser Mark III, which is going to try to punch holes in us, or probably punch holes in the battleship. I really wish I had another weapon target, and I wish I could repair my ships, but alas, that is not the case. So, we're going to save our fighters for later. Frigates can eat up fighters. We could send out fighters, we just don't want to send out drones. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do frigates and cruisers, because this cruiser is a rare prototype that doesn't get weaker once it gets destroyed and has to get rebuilt. And that's a very, very powerful advantage for me, because that means that I can risk sending it out and getting destroyed without having it come back rebuilt as a scrap ship, which is unfortunately what this frigate, for example, is in a situation of half health, since it's had to have been rebuilt without sufficient supplies. Now here we have a turret, and that's just going to fire at everybody. We can't capture it. So there's an avenue here where these turrets are going to fire at everything along this border, so it probably means the enemies are going to get driven through here. One of the flaws in this game's AI, I would argue is a flaw, is that the enemies tend to navigate over to the left and then down, and tend to avoid this lower region. And I mentioned that in a couple of different videos. It's very, very frustrating. So I'm going to create a blockade situation here. This Juggernaut is actually going to, we're going to try to thread this needle where I can get it over to the other side secretly, because it's just going to slam into the enemy ship and drain its hull. And if I can keep it alive long enough to do that, then that's a really, really good thing. So you can see that they're coming down. So what I might want to do, if they're going to take that route... Ah! I got too close. Alright, let's move you up. That's a problem. Juggernaut, you're going to take the somewhat rare opportunity to take a more northerly route through here, because we are going to... You can't reach there. We're going to move you into here, and we're going to move you into up here. Now you here. You here. The asteroid belts give us cover. Did we lose our fighters? We lost our fighter, and the reason we lost our fighter is because of this guy. So those turrets are flipping deadly. We can't be having it. Come on, move already. Alright, I'm unhappy about that because that means that fighter's going to come back scrapped. But so be it. Now, this guy's a ghost. We're going to actually hide him in an asteroid belt and see if we can take advantage of the fact that... so you are healthy but half health. We're going to have you return. We're going to have the fighter spawn in, but we're going to hide him out so that he gets stealthy. And once he's back in... Okay, so you're stealth. We're gonna place you up here. We're gonna bring in another... Can we bring in any of the frigates? No, they're still being repaired. So we're gonna bring in this fighter. Nope. You're already out. We're gonna bring in that fighter here. We can't do that. Why are you not moving? I don't understand why you are not moving. Can I move on, please? So the ordinary fighters have taken on these fighters. Alright, I'm just going to drop a nuke on them to weaken everybody because I'm just not having this. Now that got rid of our turret issue, but that was also helping defend us, so... you are dead. As drones, you should be susceptible to the fighter. That's our prototype. He's firing back. Our Juggernaut is heading forward and heavily damaged, but as long as he can get up to the enemy target, that's okay. Not super happy about that, but what are you going to do? You are going to fight. Hopefully not die too hard. Oh, you are gonna die. Can we... No, we can't save you. Alright, that's unfortunate. I'm gonna really want to find a place to repair my ships. I'm terrible about keeping my ships alive. I fully acknowledge this. Alright, so you're going to go up... Actually, you're going to go here and guard. You're going to hide here because that'll give you a pot shot at anybody that gets near. And I need to bring out another ship to act as a guardian. You'll do. You're not fully repaired, but you're pretty close. Now, you notice these guys are getting hurt, and that's because I have two officers who are good at doing sort of proximity-based attacks. I am taking hull damage as I do this, so it's risky. But that means that I don't have to pull forces back in order to be able to deal with them. And these are incoming enemy reinforcements are being teleported in outside of their zone. Here we go. So the Pirate Tech's core systems are more chance to start a fight on an advantageous battleground. Capturing speed is faster. One more max officer. Max commando and expedition 8. Which I think is better than 10 as optimal. Or no, that's just a limitation. They can't send more than 8. Alright. Can deploy fewer squadrons during flight, but compensated by reinforcement waves over time. Okay, so we're going to need a nuke to deal with these guys when they come in. And I might have to have forces back here to deal with them. They're going to be bringing in fighters. So actually, I'm going to send you down here. Now you'll notice up here, we had a guy spawn in. But now this is a more normal spawn region for ships. But immediately getting fired upon by him, and I think this is still buying us time for the frigate to get into place and drill into the enemy ship. Oh, but he's not actually in position to do so. He has to be one further over, I think, and targeting a system. We're going to have him target the squadron system in case that matters. Okay, fighter, I need you to get in here and intercept this. So this is so we protect the big ship as possible. They're getting out of range here. Let's see how this plays out. So we're going to move you over here so that when you're attacking him, we've got backup. But it doesn't matter. Okay, that's fine. Now you'll notice that he just drilled in here and is starting to do some serious damage. And actually did a full wave of damage, which means that now we're in a really good position to be able to take the fighter immediately into the blast area here and get attacking the squadron area so that they can't bring out another one. And we're going to have him backed up. We're going to place him in the asteroid belt. Okay, so let's see if we can do this lickety-split with as fewer additional losses as possible. There's the bad guys. So we're going to drop a couple of really serious nukes on these guys, because I don't want them having any impact at all if possible. And then I'm going to bring these guys out here to help defend. Okay, So so whenever the the major enemy ship dies, it pushes back our guys. I want to get my ships out of there ahead of time. We got an additional frigate out of it. So we had some loot stolen. That's fine. Warnings: we wrecked a fighter. We knew that. That's unfortunate. The rewards are that we got a new frigate, so that's good. Return to us, I beg you. May our deaths deliver us to Earth. I don't want to end your ship. You want to torture us instead? Is that it? I hold no ill will towards you. I did not bomb Ganima, and for this we are now hunted in our home. Then if it wasn't you, who destroyed Ganima? I believe it was my second in command, Okonkwo, vitrified your people. Admiral Okonkwo, we've been fleeing from his ships for years. Alright, so now we're getting some serious major history dump. Let's dig into this. More about Earth. It's not the first time I've heard of Earth. What can you tell me about it? Oberon forbade his people from talking about it, but our kind never did, and so we know Earth exists somewhere. A planet free of the machines, where man and woman can live as they should. Oh yes, coffee. We've been searching in this cluster for its folder, the warp gate, for 20 years, ever since the fleet destroyed our home. Nobody in the chat room, good. I gotta start paying more attention to the chat room. I have had people come and go and me not notice. It's not intentional, I'm just not as practiced, and I'm trying to get more focused in my life, not less. So, what I really need is some sort of a plugin or something that enables me to get pinged whenever, in some more advantageous way, whenever somebody messages the chat room, but something that doesn't actually ping the stream itself, because that would be annoying. I guess that would be something I could route through some different audio channel, maybe. That's an interesting thing. I'm going to have to see if that's possible. Because I want to get notified. I just don't want it to interrupt the stream. Anyway, maybe flashing my screen so it gets my attention. I have it on a separate screen. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Oberon would wanted to keep a folder close to him. We know it. A folder to Earth. You believe it was once part of the Empire? We don't know. Maybe, maybe not. But there are legends that such a folder exists. But let me ask you something. Don't you think it's strange we know so little about what existed before the Empire, that we never even talk about it? Ask how they escaped from Ganima. How did you survive the bombs? We weren't there. Our ship was searching for allies at the time, of which we found none when the Makers of Darkness went off. Makers of Darkness? Oh, maybe the bombs? Okay. When we returned, there was nothing left of our home, nothing but glass. Since then, we've been living on this ship constantly on the move. These stars are violent enough as it is. But when everyone assumes you're the one who shut down the machines, it's doubly violent. And did you? Did you shut them down? No, you can believe me. Defeated as we now are, there's no reason for us to lie. There are plans among our kind to do so, certainly, even attempts, but Oberon was always one step ahead. Living as we have, always on the run with no one to trust, what lonely lives we've led. Improbably, sinfully, our numbers have grown. May the gods of Earth forgive us. Why did you want to live with the Omnis? Why did you not embrace the Omnis? Did they not make your lives easier? In the beginning, we welcomed them. People always forget that. But then the Empire started to use them for more and more purposes. They were increasingly incorporated into our lives. They took over our jobs. And there was never any hesitation to do so. Never any discussion regarding negative consequences or moral concerns. Soon we felt that not only were we losing our jobs to the machines, but as we became increasingly dependent on them, our very selves as well. We lost sight of what it was to be human. Not sure I really agree with this philosophy, but alright. I guess it would kind of depend actually on the other events surrounding the existence of AIs. Certainly they could be abused. Anyway, we lost sight of what it was to be human. You have other questions, I can see. Ask if you can help their ship. Your ship, can it be its damage to be repaired? I'm afraid not. The damage is too severe, so we ask that you finish us. Finish you? Don't overreact. We can transport you safely to somewhere else. Without a ship of our own, we don't stand a chance. As soon as we are found, we will be finished. Besides, we now believe the Earth folder can only be accessed via the ethereal realm. Okay. And one needs death to access it. Okay. That's weird. Must be strange for you, Admiral. The people you thought were you thought to have killed, now asking you to end them. But it is what we want. It is the only thing that will bring us happiness. I can't do what you asked of me. It's murder. It isn't murder, Admiral. This is kindness. All right. There's a philosophically, ethically bound problem I don't know how to respond to. Let me see. I am in favor of people having charge of their own lives, even in death. I don't think there's dignity in forced life. On the other hand, my position would be, so there's a third option not being offered here. Let me take the survivalists on board my ship and have them work for me. Like, give them a purpose. We're on the same side. Come with us. Maybe our ship isn't big enough, but I mean, it seems to be a large battleship. If there's a few hundred people, like if the ship is big enough to hold a group of survivalists, surely we can have them on board our ship and have them join a common cause and give their life purpose. Because they don't appear to be in pain. They just appear to be scared and on the run. But that's not their choice, and I don't have really. I would want to argue at this point that their life can still have value here, but I would hate it if I were in a situation where I was genuinely in such intense suffering that that being asked to do so, that my asking someone else to help me end suffering was being rejected because of somebody else's decision on what my life is worth. That's, to me, not ethical. So, yeah, I know it's just a game, but it sparks an interesting question. I can, because I'm not given the third option to argue a case and to tease out what their position is so that I can understand what I'm actually being asked to do, because I'm being put in a situation where I can't do that. Because I think at the very least, being put in this position of choosing one of these two choices, being asked to be put in that position, I have at least some rights to know enough information to know what I'm being asked. I can't do that. I have to go on what I currently know. I don't want to leave them to be hunted down. So here's the thing. If I seriously thought that I was going to be able to finish my mission, and that's no guarantee, and even in the context of the game, I know there's no guarantee because my character, through me trying to play this game, has died repeatedly in the clone sent to do this over and over and over again. I know there's no guarantee that I'm going to be able to succeed, but we don't have some sort of time reversal thing. It's not like my failure is going to be undone. So that means that if I fail here, it's possible that there could be a lot of retaliation against these people. And then when I come back, they will have simply, in principle, died because of what I did, or just, because of circumstances, because of what I failed to be able to do. Regardless of my intent. My intent, I would argue, is still noble, because I'm trying to stop all this from happening. Wow. I spent way too long on this one question. Oh my god, I could go both ways because I'm not being given my third option. Even if that third option ultimately led me to one of these two in the end. I am going to say that I'm going to choose one of these with the intent that if the option comes up again, I'm going to choose the other to see where it goes. I find this hard to make this choice on this limited information. I'm going to live with their wishes this time. I'm not going to next time because I think that the case is so ambiguous here that, their choice isn't ambiguous. my reaction as being asked in the position that I'm in as to what is the most ethical choice for me is a little bit because not because I don't want to live with their wishes, but because I have to live with consequences. And that matters too. Yikes. Anyway, it troubles me, but if it will end your suffering, then I will end your ship. It will, Admiral. If I could at least reasonably determine that they were genuinely suffering, and to some degree in this circumstance I have to take them at their word, then this is the right answer. I think. Dude, that's rough, though. Your loss will be remembered, sir. Your legacy will carry on. If nothing else, you will survive through your legacy. So, let's just get on with this now that we've had that ethical dilemma and talked about it way too long. Because it's a game and we're playing a game, and let's continue the game. So, local system map. What have we got going on here? We're here. There's no more Neo-N here. So the way I'm going to do this is we have enough mercenaries to try to take the auto factory. Regardless of how many we lose, we can then potentially rebuy them. And it's highly important, I think, at this point that we maximize our chance on getting some really good stuff. I'm picking up a pre-shutdown ad. Okay, so we don't... Some people enslave the Omnis while others worship them as gods. When all is said and done, who do you think will enter the garden? Okay. A little bit of religious symbology there. Prepare the mission. Nobody in the chat room. Okay. Scan the planet, please. Let's find out what we can do. So, no resources and lots of loss of commandos. Not interested. No commandos lost, but we'll get up to 48% of the available resources. That's okay. Way more resources. We'll lose some commandos, but our officer will return safely. Well, that's clearly the best option given given that we can repurchase some commandos shortly. Sad to say, the commandos are an expendable resource in this game. Okay, so we're gathering quite a bit of stuff here, but the thing that we really want is right here. Alright, we only got scrap out of it, but it was a decent amount of scrap. That's okay. Now, we did get minorly hurt, but we didn't get to the point of being seriously injured, so all of our injured people are going to come back. That was actually a pretty successful mission. 146 scrap. That is really good for our situation. I'm not going to spend any yet, though, because there's a mercenary outpost, and I want to see what stuff we can have done here. What we really want is a shipyard, maybe. Aki Beacon, sir. Seems to be relaying a pre-recorded message on repeat. Hi, Dr. Tanaka here with House Akabara Sung Modification Services. Are your mods flabby? Visit your mod station and walk out more beautiful than ever. Yay. There's actually quite a bit of lore implicitly buried in this game of all these various factions and their predilections for services they offer. Akabara Sung is apparently a beautification and body mod group. Visit shop. So we're getting down on Neo-N, so we might want to buy that. The matter destabilizer applies a decay. Tesla field generator damages over time. 10 DPS for 8 seconds. The delay on that is enormous, though. Absolutely enormous. This one recharges not that bad. Inflict 2% of max health as damages per second. So what that's going to do is it's going to take really fortified ships and hurt them pretty heavily, but it's not going to do much to ships that are already fairly damaged. All right. I don't know what this DNA thing is for. That might mean that if I pick this guy up, I will have that DNA on file for future playthroughs. Because you'll notice that when I start up the game, I'm asked to choose officers, and a bunch of the officers are locked. A scientist, so we've got some overlap with existing characters skill-wise, so that's a problem. Yeah, so we're covering. We only really get the book smarts corner down in the bottom left. This soldier, Officer Assist, will act as having the same ability as the officer currently deployed in the previous support dock of the same system. That's interesting. I could use that in order to effectively clone. So we have a couple of characters doing the DPS thing. I could actually use that as a way to move one of my other ship's DPS characters into a different place, because I could double up in the one place that I have 2 slots. Interesting. Advanced maneuvers. This doesn't really. We have some overlap with at least one of the characters. I'm going to go with Wheeze, and the reason I'm going to go with that is the skill that they provide is for the ships, and I don't yet have anybody in charge of the ships, in charge of the squadrons. Plus, we're going to have patched ships, and making them more useful as units when they're patched, when they're damaged, is actually a really good thing. And the fact that I don't really get a lot of skill overlap is not a big deal right now. But I can also pick up, I think I can pick up their DNA so that I can use them again later, and that's why they're more expensive. That's about the only thing I'm going to be able to buy, but I think that's the right option. So there we go. I was right. New officer DNA unlocked, Wheeze. So I'll be able to take this officer with me into future plays. And there are going to be future plays, because I'd like to actually maybe try this on hard at some point, once I have unlocked more of the characters and have more skills at my disposal, so that my ship is ultimately more capable. So I think that's really the only way I'm going to get through hard, is by having a bunch of officers like this. He had 3 skills. He had a really good power. So yeah. And I'm gonna buy fuel. And that's all I can buy. Do I want to sell anything? Not really. I kind of want all the things that I have. I really want a new auxiliary system, because I have a slot for it. Okay, let's... can we bring him into here? No, because we don't have a slot open for him yet in here. So we're going to have to purchase that, and that's not cheap either, so. Local system map. We visited everywhere, time to move on. Alright, so now we're going to go into Signy, and then across, I think, if we can. So. Now, like FTL, it's occurred to me, and I haven't tested this theory out or looked it up online, but it occurs to me that if I spend a lot of time hopping on planets in an individual system, I exclude the ability to hop across systems more quickly. Now, I'm bound on doing that by fuel, but I'm wondering if I could actually, if I had a lot of fuel on a particular playthrough, that I could do more hopping between the broader systems in the sector to get to more interesting anomalies faster and not incur the wrath of being noticed, like advancing that wave. Because in FTL, one of the biggest things was your temptation was to visit as many planets as possible, and that's actually not a good idea, because you'll often go to planets that aren't interesting. And the advance of the Imperial fleet, or sorry, the Rebel fleet or whatever behind you that's chasing you, just advances over time. So you kind of have a time frame in getting to the end, and you want to be able to get to all the interesting planets you can with all the interesting story bits and stuff before you simply run out of time and being chased. Here, I haven't. I don't. It's kind of time based, like it's clearly advancing, but I'm wondering if, because there's a lot of places to explore in an individual system, whether that eats up time. And I think the answer is probably yes. And I'm not sure how to do my time management better to maybe maximize that ability. It'd be interesting to try a run where I try hopping more, but then I would need a lot of Neo N. Because you use up one of these fuel units every time you do even one of those micro hops. So there's a discouragement to doing system hopping by that. So, and I'm always at the edge, so I'm not sure I could move any faster through the systems anyway. Although, no, that answers my own question, because if I'm in a system and hop amongst the planets in a system, I'm using up Neo N for that. The fuel I don't use bouncing around those planets is fuel that I could use bouncing around more systems. Maybe on a hard playthrough, or on my next medium playthrough, I'll have to give that strategy a thought, because there are a lot of systems that give you story information, but not a lot of necessarily interesting stuff. If I stuck to planets that had anomalies, shops I actually wanted to visit, and places I could infiltrate, I might be able to get more out of them, just like an FTL. Oh, there you go. I've had a thought. Because apparently I'm thick and didn't think about this before. Anyway, seems we're in the middle of some kind of magnetic storm, sir. Got chief, sir. Sir, I'm... that's a weird phrase. Sir, I'm getting some strange readings on the ship's hypercarbonator. Could be a storm. As you know, a carbonator is a carbon filter, so it removes excess carbon from the ship. Now, usually Empire filter is the top of the line, but our analyses indicate this one might not last through the month. I can build a new one, though that will require some scrap, or we continue to use it, risking disease in the interim. What kind of disease? I'm no doc. Tahi. Tahi. Can't read, apparently. But my guess, we're looking at carbon lung here. Well, that's not good. Carbon lung, a disease for miners, not for Imperial clones trying to save the Empire. No. Oh, God, we don't have enough. Well, yay us. Okay, I guess we continue to use it. We can use the filter as long as we can. Chief? Of course, for what it's worth, I think the crew will understand. We need to conserve our scrap. I'll get back to you with an update, sir. You might want to hold your breath in the meantime, and I mean that literally. Well... bad news, sir. The carbonator failed not long after we spoke, and carbon levels exploded on the ship. I'm afraid much of the crew fell sick with carbon lung. We took a big loss. I say this with nothing but humility, sir, but it might be worth using scrap to build a new one next time. Well, that sucks, and we've lost a whole pile of people. But we couldn't have done anything anyway, because we just didn't have the scrap. So, word to the wise, keep some scrap aboard the ship for emergencies. Well, you know what? We're going to go with our current pattern of just popping through all the planets in a system because... yeah. Our atmospheric scanners detecting some signs of civilization on this planet, but almost zero heat signatures. Incoming message, sir. Hello. This is Admiral Idaho. We thought that maybe you had all died off. We're relieved that if you're receiving this message, our colony is no more. It's a recording, sir. Let's listen. Let's hear the rest, Ozu. Of course, sir. Without functional omnis, life on our planet became too difficult. We experienced famine, disease, and meteorological disasters on a scale previously unimaginable. After years of suffering, our entire population down to a few thousand, we decided to join our family and friends in the next life. Please do not judge us for what we have done. Nope, not going to do that. We made the best decision we could in these difficult times. I kind of agree. We have left behind a substantial amount of scrap on our planet. You are welcome to it. Lastly, if you're considering this alternative yourself, we hope this gives you the courage to go through with it. Well, no, not in my case, because I'm not suffering and I can use the scrap to hopefully improve matters. Oh yeah, I'm not letting them die for no reason, so let's go and collect the scrap. Well, they didn't die for no reason. They died for their own choice and their own reason. But, so that their legacy need not be in vain, and in fact, on top of the fact that they asked us to do it, let's go and grab that scrap. Sir, we're here, and there are no defense systems of any kind. This is the easiest crop we've selected yet. Any sign of the colonists? Unfortunately, yes, sir. They're scattered beneath a grove of Arcturus trees. Actually, poison trees. These colonists ate its fruit. As far as deaths go, it's a painless one. They almost look peaceful lying there. Hard to be excited over this right now, I know, but it's a considerable haul we have. We're on our way back to the ship, sir. Incoming message from Lean. Sir, I have some bad news. Several of my grunts took their own lives. I guess they were encouraged by the colonists. Must have snuck some poisoned fruit in the shuttle. Some of these knuckleheads are in the Gehenna database. They'll be born again, and I'd love to see the expressions on their faces when they are. Well, this is problematic because we're going to have to spend most of that scrap getting our people back. Okay, in case... Nope, don't want to do that. In case there's a fight, I am going to get squadron support. Oh, we can't. We need 150. Alright. Well. Off to the secret military base, I guess. Incoming transmission. Please accept this scrap. According to our beliefs, the more scrap you have, the harder it is to join the Omnis in the Garden of Light and Metal. Okay. I don't get it. These believers are just going to give us their scrap? What's the gig? I'm not sure there is one. They honestly believe the more... Oh, Caliban. I'm not sure there is one. They honestly believe the more they suffered, the more they'll be rewarded in the afterlife. The crazy narratives your kind creates. Well, that's not untrue. Yeah, we'll accept the scrap. We'd be happy to accept your scrap. Thank you, Admiral. I can't tell what a relief it is to unburden our sins upon your heathen ship. Alright. And we don't have enough commandos. We actually can't go on the quest. I don't know what to do about that. Okay, but we can now, and I probably shouldn't do this before we jump to the next system, but I want to prepare in case we run into problems. So we're going to get squadron system support, and we're going to bring in Wheeze. So, what do we got here? We've got an army depot where we can collect Marines, so that's a thing there. We've got planetary defense wreckage, which we actually can't get now because we don't have enough people. So we're going to Aldecaris, and if we can come back, maybe we'll do Alpha. This might be a good time to test that supposition that I can system hop more quickly. I don't know how much of this I want to risk. Sir, if I may have a word. What is it, Lieutenant? Sir, I was wondering if we might take a moment to mourn for those who have passed away in our journey so far. Mourn for our own past lives, you mean? Well, yes, I guess that's what I'm saying. I think it could really help provide us a sense of closure. But if my estimates are right, it will cost us a bit of scrap to hold a proper funeral service. Yeah, do it. Sounds like a good idea, Hawks. Do what you can. Thank you, sir. I'll check back with you when the service is over. Yes, this probably doesn't have any major utility in game terms. I don't know, honestly. But for the sake of narrative, I'm a narrative guy. I'm going to do it. The ceremony's over. Of course, we'll continue to die. Maybe we'll continue to mourn our future deaths too, but I believe the funeral is quite healing. Probably that might help if we had officers who were hurt. Anyway, scavenging Neo-N. Okay, so we've got reserves. We're going to go to the Army Depot. House Vicarelli Beacon, sir, and it seems to have an old message stuck in it. House Vicarelli Beacon. House Vicarelli Beacon, not even a scrapper would scrap that. Alright. Here, Dozu. Right away, Admiral. Doesn't seem to be working, sir. It looks like it wasn't high quality to begin with. House Vicarelli, truly the worst of the houses. Alright. And we don't have enough scrap to buy anything either. This was a bad choice. Buy one. Alright, let's see if we can be smart about this. Let's get rid of a Mark I fighter, because that enables us to get a couple more commandos, which may let us do the next thing. You'll say you're a fellow Imperial, and maybe you even are, but you'll have some trick or another up your sleeve. All ships do now. Prepare to fight. Alright, I probably shouldn't have sold the fighter. I'm kind of torn as to what the right answer there was, but... Okay, now we're going up against a mix of everything, but mostly drones, so we're gonna go fighter heavy, I think. Which is ironic. Alright. Let's send you over and up. See if we can create a blockade situation here. Okay. So this is a pretty good situation for us here because we are able to hammer the enemy from several sides. We lost one of our fighters, but I think it was one that was damaged already. And we've definitely bought ourselves some time for the frigate. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna send our fighters up to hammer the squadrons while we still have a moment. We're gonna hide you in this asteroid belt. Bring out some frigates. I'm gonna hide the frigates in the asteroid belt here. Oh, here we go. Here we go. So, time to do some damage. The fighter's badly hurt. Not sure there's anything we can do about that. Nope. That's fine. So, we've got enemy ships coming in here. I'm hoping... So, this frigate is going to be able to get in there regardless of what happens. So, we're going to have the frigate attack the squadron so that the squadrons come out less easily. What do I want to do here? I actually want to send you back here. You can actually protect the ship. That's actually a good plan there. I'm going to send you up to help. Okay, so what can we do here? We can bring out some of these guys in order to help protect the cruiser. We're going to launch a nuke over here to help damage him. And then we're going to send you up to keep pressure on the squadrons. Bring more frigates out. Okay, let's take the drone boomer and target their weapon systems as well. And let's return the cruiser, because the cruiser is going to be hurting, could do the repair. Now, he doesn't get in a position of being damaged for scrap. Sorry, damaged to be a patched ship. But taking him in anyway means that he gets repaired immediately, and I can deploy somebody else immediately. of which I have a couple of scrap ships that I can bring up. That's okay, because we have the guy who can help scrap ships be really, really effective. So let's go do that then. And we got another cruiser. That's cool. We did wreck a ship. That's unfortunate. So we only have 18 scrap, though. It would have been nice if we'd gotten scrap out of that. See if we can get some scrap out of the next one. We need more anomalies and more fights to generate scrap for us. Imperial battleship, sir. A fellow Imperial battleship. Who is it I'm speaking with? This is Admiral Ellis Idaho of the NS Odysseus. Yeah, and I'm Pope Xenon. Anyway, I'm glad I bumped into another Imperial. Just about all of my crew has abandoned ship, and well, I'm about to do the same. What's the point of going on fighting? No one's going to turn the Omnis back on. We might as well enjoy the little time we have left. But look, we've got some scrap still left on the ship. More than I can take with me. It's yours if you want it. So long, Admiral Ellis Idaho. So, nice. Okay. So there's nowhere else that we can go in this system. But if we jump back to the Army Depot, we could get more crew. Now, if we instead... So we're not going to be able to get back to Alpha and Ash. It's just too much danger. This is a secret military base on it, which we might be able to get people at, and it means that we wouldn't risk anything. Sorry, what am I saying? We would risk anything. The point is we'd get another possibility at more encounters, but there's no anomalies there, so it's unlikely to be a fight. On the other hand, if we go here, we have the Omniforge, and we can use that to upgrade a ship. Now, there's, again, no anomalies there. So here's the problem. If I go to Sharan and possibly upgrade one of the ships, I'm going to miss out on this guy, and that guy actually has anomalies. But once I go here... You know what, though? That might enable me, depending on what's there. There's a trading beacon there, too. So if I go to the anomalies, I might be able to use the trading beacon to get stuff that I might need. It's a tough call, because it'd be nice to be able to upgrade some of our ships, but I don't really have the scrap to do it anyway. So we're going to go to the Sharan system. Damaged beacon, sir. There's some scrap to collect here, but maybe not much. I'm also picking up a church ship nearby. It doesn't see us, but that could change quickly. Well, yeah, we're going to collect the scrap. Lean, put together a team and collect that scrap. Of course, Admiral. Get noticed, and we get into a fight, so much the better. Sir, bad news. The church ship is on the move and headed straight for us. We should be there in T-3 minutes. Lean, sir. Sir, we can return to the ship now or try to finish getting scrap before the Zealots get here. Oh, we're collecting the beacon scrap. Give me that scrap before the Zealots get here, Captain. Of course, sir, you grunts heard the man move with a purpose. It's risky, but... Okay. Church ship's almost here, sir. Where's Lean's team? Lean and his mouth breather is always making me sweat. We're back with the scrap, sir. Now let's get out of here before we have a battle on our hands. Well, I kind of want the battle because I could use the... Anyway, incoming transmission. Lucky, sinner. Don't worry, your time of punishment will come. Alright. Alright. We got 2 Neo-Ns, so that's good. We have 134 scrap. We don't have an additional weapon yet. We don't need additional weapon support, because we don't have a crew to put there. We really should start working on our additional hull structures. We also have squad recovery time, which could help. We're not going to get a big payday from now on in, and I need money for... Well, you know, at some point, I'm not going to need money for commandos. Like, we're running into the point where we're not going to have a whole lot of additional opportunities necessarily to do commando stuff. Except for the 2 anomalies I said I was going to go to. Balance. Balance in all things. Hang on. Local system map. There's a secret military base. Let's go get some commandos. If we can. Don't attack. It's my first day on the job. Here, take a scrap. Just leave me alone. Wow, I almost feel bad for that pirate, almost. Prepare a mission. Scan the planet. We can't get commandos at the secret military base. Okay, that's going to be problematic. We're going to lose between 4 and 4 commandos. 0 and 0 commanders. Oh, look at that. We will lose between 0 and 0 commandos, and we'll extract a huge amount of the resources, and we won't get hurt. More commandos lost and less resources gathered. Yeah, sure. I'll take the near freebie. No, I mean, some guys might get hurt on this, but statistically, this is a really good mission for us. We got another cruiser. We'll have to be able to have an army of cruisers defending each other. That'll be funny. Yes, let's get all the scrap, please. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely a win. And we got a cruiser prototype. Wow, that's sweet. That was a good win for us. So, star map. Now, here are our options. Actually, we have an additional option. I know we don't have an additional option because that's going to become hostile, and we don't have a way to avoid hostility. I do want to test out next game that I play whether rapid hopping between systems is a better option. Like, explicitly avoid any planet that does not have an anomaly on it and see if that does us better. Or at least some sort of ground mission. So we're going to Delta Maim Astralis. So now take a look at these. This one is alerted to us. The local roads are looking for you. There's a high chance you'll encounter the local patrol here, and trading stations are more expensive. But it'll also become hostile between jumps. This one will only become hostile between jumps. So there's a difference between these two. But I don't know if I've ever been in a system... I don't know if I've ever been in a situation where I've been in a system that is hostile, but is not going to be taken over anyway. So this distinction, at least for my playthroughs, has never been an issue. Maybe we have more of that on hard mode. Maybe if you stay in a system long enough, that happens more frequently, but long before you end up with the hostile flag. Maybe. Anyway, Delta Maim Astralis. Off we go. This is a healing station, Admiral. For a price, we'll heal your wounded with our magic. I don't know, it sounds a little sketchy to me. The last time I went through here and didn't offer a little bit of scrap, I got cursed, and I really can't afford that, so here you are. If performed a ritual, you should see results soon. Alright, so that was just making sure I don't get into trouble. The shipyard may have people. So this anomaly doesn't mean there's anything on the surface. Which means we don't need commandos for this. And I kind of want the shipyard to be our last thing. And even though we can pick up commandos here, I don't think we need them. So risk, I'm going to take this risk and go here first. I'm at my most religious, blowing up ships of sinners. I'm okay with a fight, because I'm doing pretty well on the fight front. Oh, hello. A turret. These are not able to be taken over. Is there a path through? There is. It's this narrow corridor here. So I can set up a blockade. So let's have a little fun with this. Let's actually bring out a whole bunch of cruisers that can help defend each other. Well, no, that's a bit dumb. And the reason why that's dumb is only one of them... Oh, 2 of them can't be patched, whatever happens. Alright. Alright, let's just do this for giggles. That's always a dangerous thing to say in a game, right? This unit's movement cannot be altered and positive negative effects in any way. So that's interesting, because that means he can be fairly fluid in motion. I'm going to set him here. I'm going to set him here and him here. Did I miss a ship? No. Alright. The one that cannot become patched is going to sit there. The one that cannot become patched is going to go up here, and this one is going to sit here. No, you are going to go... you can't go through there. Oh, that's interesting. Alright, so let's take a different tack here. We gotta go up this corridor, I think, to be safe. Really wish that menu didn't float in the middle like that. Can I do anything to... I can't move this, so that, to me, that's a user interface issue. I just like that to be out of the way, or be able to move it out of the way. I don't know if there's a way for me to do that. But I don't think that extends into that region, so that's the corridor that's safe. And while it's traveling up there, I can move here, here, and here to follow behind it. So let's try that, actually. Let's... So you're going to try to attack this guy, because that's the only corridor you have. But I'm going to get these guys into formation. So I'm going to have all of you guys actually follow up here. Too fast. So you've been frozen, so they have some freeze technology that I gotta deal with. It's actually not a disadvantage here, because the thing that I'm trying to protect is moving slowly anyway. And I'm going to nuke these two systems pretty heavily. Oh, but I'm getting pummeled by... an attacking unit with a negative effect. So they have... auxiliary system topmost weapon dog will be instantly deployed and ready to fire. Oh, so they're using their weapons, and their weapons are hull breaker, laser, and engine disruptor, and they have been pummeling. Alright, so you know what? We're going to have you target these weapons. You, on the other hand, are going to go home. Nope. Too late. Alright, that's fine. He has a basilisk, too. That's fine. I'm going to drop a nuke on your bum. So that hurts you. And since you are a basilisk, we're going to start deploying... We're going to put out some drones. And... let's get some frigates out. So I did my primary damage. What I really want to do, though, is I want to get a ship out there to be able to... Okay. Boomers are going to go after the frigates because they're going to be weak to... So I've now cleared out this upper area of that turret. So that's a useful thing to take advantage of. I want to get you up to... I want to get you over here, but I want to be able to take out that cruiser sooner rather than later. Now that I got you pinned, actually, let's get everybody targeted. Okay, so you're done. Boomers, you need to specifically target him. And you need to get up... you as a frigate, I want to get you up and over onto this guy immediately. Now we can bring out a new ship. We can't bring out the driller. Let's bring out... really unfortunate that cruiser got taken out, but that's the way it goes. Let's bring out the fighter. Okay, we should be able to attack the frigate. Actually, let's see if we can't do a little bit of assistance here with a couple of nukes. Need to get in here and hurt them. The fighter gone into stealth mode. Time to get you up into that area as well. Okay, let's send a few guys home for repairs here. What have we got going on? So he instantly died. That's a problem. You're already scrapped, so you're actually pretty close to your max health anyway. Let's start bringing in... We can bring you in, because why not? Let's get you up into that region. Actually, we don't want them to bring out another Basilisk, I don't think. So let's have you target... Actually, you're really badly hurting now. Let's get you home. Ah, these are like draining weapons of some kind. And I just had a major chunk of my hull taken out because their weapons keep pummeling the crap out of me. That's going to be a problem because I can't take any more hits on that front. Alright, we have to start pummeling the crap out of the weapons because we can't have them keep firing that. Oh, and they got their Basilisk out again. Alright, well we gotta go take care of that. This is where I may die, because they're probably going to... Oh, no, we did actually manage to do it. So we got a Drone Mark IV flash out of it, which we'll look at in a minute, but we got everything wrecked. And we lost a major hull doing that. Looking for ways to get that repaired is going to be one of our primary tasks. Oh, Lord. Okay, but that's where the shipyard's going to come in. Okay, so actually, let's go there. Let's go and deal with this. Looks like a pirate satellite, sir, and unguarded too. Probably out stealing somewhere. Good, then we'll just pirate the pirates. Let's grab this pirate satellite. I like the sound of that. Sweet. Okay, so first things first, repair a hull bar. We're good. Second thing... So, we have the chance to get an auxiliary system, which might be helpful. All weapons dealing direct damage to field units inflict an additional decay effect. That could be useful, because I'm constantly dropping stuff on people, except that the decay effect... so I have nukes, so it's going to do instant damage that's quite heavy. That's going to drop their current health. Inflict... Oh, it's actually inflict 2.5% of max health as damages per second. Oh, that can be interesting. The Gaiji's field generator. Every time you encounter a warring battleship or an alert status, there's a 50% chance that the field generator deactivates, making your battleship invisible. Well, we're not going to go with that option. But the entropic weapons could be useful. But we also are going to need our ships repaired. We're also going to need our hull upgraded. So... we're not going to get a chance to both repair our ships, upgrade our hull, and get that entropic weapon. So I have to make a call here. And I'm not going to worry about the commandos, because I don't think we're really going to have an opportunity to take advantage of that. So I'm going to give us... If I got two... Jeez, what's the best way to go? An additional hull structure gives me an entire additional 125 points of health. the next layer is going to be impossible for me to get. I could go for a hardened hull, which would buy me more time as they attack my hull. But I'm also going to want really well-repaired ships in the next section, I think. Except that my ships do fight pretty well in scrap mode, and I actually, arguably, even if they do get hurt, I want to get them recycled, so I want the squad recovery. In my current scenario, because I've got this officer, actually what I want is squad recovery. So we go down from 8 seconds to 7 seconds, which buys me the faster ability to get squadrons back out, except the ships also have repair time. Trade-offs. No. What I'm gonna do is repair some of my ships. Frigate fighter. At least one drone. I'm gonna fighter. I'm gonna leave the rest scrap because I might need it. How far do I have left? No, it's literally the next jump is the cluster boss, and I don't really have anywhere else in here in this system is gonna be. So I might as well at this point. So the situation here is this is the final gun. So I might as well spend whatever I can in order to get my guys back up and running. The commandos don't matter, nothing matters here. So we are going to all right. I am going to. My coffee's going cold, and while I don't mind sipping on a little bit of cold coffee, I think as long as I'm going for cold beverage, I'm going to take a few seconds to go get myself a little bit of bubbly liquid for the final push. Not going to change screens or anything. I'll be back in a moment. Alrighty then. Got liquid. That caffeinated cola. Alright. Or soda. The eternal debate. So, I guess we're doing this. Oh, interesting. I noticed that our buddy that we brought in, our specialized officer, is actually not entirely human. Body modded, I guess. A key? A Conquo. So you made it this far, clone. I have to hand it to you. I never thought you would. Why'd you do it, Okonkwo? Do what? Bomb Ganima. Why did the original Idaho not? The survivalists were a threat to the Empire. We were ordered to eliminate them. So when Ellis didn't, I did. That's all there is to it. Great. Bigger zealot than the church people. All they wanted was to be free of the Omnis and live on their own. Was that really such a crime? In our empire, yes. You know, maybe he was a survivalist himself. That would explain why he disobeyed Oberon. He wasn't a survivalist. How do you know? You don't have his memories. At least not all of them. In his final days, I didn't know who he was either. And I was his best friend. But I've talked to you long enough. It's time to destroy the ship of yours, take your machine, find Gehenna, and end this freak show once and for all. Go on then, but you'll have to do it. Now, one of your men and women, you'll have to see to it yourself. I doubt you can. Clone, I'll show you exactly what I can do. Alright. So, we've got a mix of everything coming at us, that's fine. We got extra speed and damage per second, alright. Regen to all allied squadrons in your deploy zone. Add 1 absorb shield for every 15 seconds to the first unshielded battleship system. Hull squadron weapon. So that's going to increase his shielding. He's got a repair bot injector so he can keep his guys repaired, and he has a piercer laser. Alright, so all the problems all the time. Let's see what we can do here. Probably his ships are going to try to come through here, so and get a cruiser out in that area. I'm going to try to set up a blockade. I'm not going to use that cruiser. So this guy generates an EMP shockwave, deactivating all enemy squadrons adjacent, so that's interesting. Choose a destination while fighting will prevent this unit from firing. So we could drop him... teleport the unit to its destination and can't use regular move, but has a cooldown of 7 seconds. So I can bring him in and like drop him next to something I want him to deal with. That could actually be really useful. We're going to bring in a ghost and have him charge up his invisibility because that might prove to be a useful attack, and then he can help the cruiser be protected. So, who haven't I brought in yet? Brought in you. Have I brought in you? Yes. I haven't brought in the frigate. Frigate is going to pop in here and come around and also help defend the cruiser. So let's see if we can make this work. So you in and up. And oh my god, that is kind of insane. In and up. I'm not going to have the nukes right away. I should have brought fighters because he's got a lot of drones, but alright. You're going to go here, you're going to go here, you are going to go here. You just want to come in and try to screw with my main systems, don't you? And so you, let's just get you all the way up to there. Rough. Okay, so that's done a lot of damage to his systems. Those fighters are being pummeled. I've got to get you backed away, which which you can because you're not immediately engaging. I lost one of my ships. So you're going to get up there pretty quick. I'm going to want you to retreat right now so I can get you repaired. I've got to take out that weapon. Okay, so drone boomer. I got to get the drones out here. I lost my other drones. That's unfortunate. I have to immediately take out those weapons. Those weapons have to go away. I'm getting into position up there. I'm deploying a new frigate. Come on. Okay, so I gotta get you up here. Oh. I have units that have suddenly spawned in. That's unfortunate. Let's see if we can't increase our chances here. Nope, the fighters are still having a day. Gonna drop another nuke up there. Oh, I'm not gonna win this. Okay, let's bring you up to there. So that's going to help with we're going to have local damage per second going on here because of the proximity thing that we got going on. Now these guys are drones, which means fighters are the best thing to deal with them. So I'm going to just drop some drones in here to help. Nope, you have got to take out the fighter. Come on. Okay, so we're doing okay there. Now, while that's being occupied, we are going to bring in another frigate to get you up there to help out. Act as a relief effort. Okay, so, fighters. You're still in pretty good shape. Let's get you back into position up here as fast as you can. Got a nuke available, so that's a good sign. You are going to go and attack you as well. So how am I going to do this? I want you here. I want you coming in immediately there. And I want these fighters to come in here. I got a couple of nukes on the way for when they bring in reinforcements. And I got my new frigates. So let's get the frigates in to act as a safety bulwark against spawning units. Like that. That was bad. Okay, let's back you off to here. You are going to attack him. Okay, so we've got drones coming in. That's a problem. But here is where we start doing some serious house cleaning. Get you home? Is that a thing we can do? Probably not. You're gonna die, right? That's really unfortunate. Alright. Okay, so you're gonna be able to take out those fighters. Cruiser's gonna get destroyed, and we've got a temporary everybody shielded thing going on here, which just kind of sucks, but okay. Golden Veil. Every 80 seconds, all units become immune to damage for 10 seconds. Well, that's several kinds of suck. Alright, we're gonna bring out another cruiser. We're going to bring out another fighter. We're going to bring out another... drone. going to teleport you up here. Okay, that's a problem. We got another cruiser for here. Okay, so we've temporarily done some serious damage to them up there. But we're in serious trouble down here, so let's see if we can't... Oops. See if we can't help out. Okay, so we're going to take our cruisers home. And we're going to bring out these drones. Okay, so let's see what we can do here. Frigate. Frigate. Nuke into this area. And a cruiser there, we should be able to... one square away. Bring out a fighter up here. We're going to have you go and attack. We really want to stop those squadrons. The squadrons are a bloody nuisance. Okay, so that frigate, let's go and get you repaired. Actually, let's get you repaired too, and let's get you repaired. Let's actually get everybody repaired. Alright, time to bring out some guns. So these guys we're going to bring out because, lo and behold, they're prototypes and they don't get turned into patched ships. Let's bring you in, and let's just send you up as a... Alright, so, here we got ships spawning in. Time to bring in some nukes. Alright, so that'll give them time to recharge while we get these other ships out. So you are going here, and then straight up here, because you're going to cause some significant havoc. Alright, so that's fine. We are actually not in bad shape. Now you're going to try to go around, aren't you? You are. So I'm going to bring you in here and you in here. Ow. Well, that's one of our hull pieces gone, but okay, we kind of expected that. Okay, so what do we got here? We got fighters, so we don't want to bring in drones. What we really want to do is bring in frigates. So there we're going to bring in a frigate. That's going to help with the fighters. So let's drop a nuke on this to help shake things up a little bit. We lost one of our cruisers, that's okay. The frigates are doing adequately. Not really, but what do we do? So I just got to keep things alive until the frigate can get up into the corner. And I have lost my laptop doing monitoring of the stream. The reason for that is because I'm a bit of a moron and didn't actually plug it in. So let's take a few seconds to correct that while I'm on pause here. Pull out the old cables. Come on. Here we go. Travel. Like having a backup system monitoring what's going on. That's at least plugged in for a few seconds while hopefully my stream is continuing on its merry way. I actually want you back down here. That's not going to work. Okay. This is going to be touch and go because I don't really have... So what are these guys? These are fighters. So again, time to bring in frigates to help out there. I bought myself time to drop a nuke on all these guys. But they're invincible because of their shields. Damn it. Okay. Can't do anything about that. Let's bring in... So those are frigates, and those are fighters. Drones are not a great solution here, so we're going to undo that. We're going to go with fighters, and we're going to bring in the fighters here. My frigate just got pummeled. It's going to be really touch and go. Fighters are coming down. I don't have enough weaponry being brought to bear immediately, and those fighters are going to go, but I can drop another nuke on them. Now they are not invincible. And now I can bring in fighters here. Alright. Bring up my laptop. Hit play and make sure that the stream is still live, which it does appear to be. That's fine. Alright, so let's get dangerous. More frigates, please. 1 and 0. And we're going to bring in... At this point, we can probably bring in drones, because if they survive the attacks, I can bring them up against the main ship. We're just going to drop a nuke on that just to clear it up. Drone Boomer, you're going to go up and start doing some damage up top here. Alright, so we have to do one more takeout of the hull up there, which we might be able to do if we're really, really lucky. So, of our ships, we've got the drones that are heading up. The other guys are hurt, so let's bring them back into the bay. Let's get this guy up here to act as our... long-range shot. Let's bring in the frigates. Do we have anybody else I can bring out? Yes, I can bring out the teleporting drones, which I will use to replace the other drones when they get destroyed. So let's do the thing, and let's bring you out here because you're more likely to be needed in front. We stand a pretty good chance of being able to do this. We've got drones and fighters out there, so we're going to bring in a nice solid tactical nuke on top of that. And actually, while they are weak, let's bring out another one, because that's going to be a problem when they become invincible. So now that's been sorted. So while they try to come in to take me out, I'm going to set up teleporting into place top. And that gives me the chance to teleport in another frigate. There we go. There we go. Now we're in good shape. Yes. Okay. Bring you up in here. Okay, so now we got new ships coming in. Our nuke's going to be coming out pretty soon. They've already been heavily damaged. Let's... No, let's... You're going to stay there. You, I need to get down here. I need you to be in a place where you are going to be able to help fight them. I'm going to bring you in because I can. I'm going to bring you in there. And I'm going to have you stopped by... You are drones, so I'm going to have you stopped by a fighter back here. Are you doing some sort of beam healing, maybe? In any case, I'm dropping a nuke on you because you're not invincible yet. Fighters. You are going to go help fight off the frigates. Let's get you up here. Temporarily invincible, which is a real pain in the ass. So I'm not going to drop a nuke on you. Alright. What can we do here? Fighters. Here. Long distance ship here because you'll be able to take out guys that get too close. Now we got the nukes coming in, so frigate here to help generally defend, but you guys, I'm going to bring you up to here so that you can actually start attacking. Okay, this is going to be tricky. What do I want to do here? I can nuke this entire area, and they are not invincible, so that should be useful. So those fighters are going to be in trouble, and there's not much I can do about it, but these frigates aren't going to last long. That's actually not a bad thing. So you're done. Let's send you home so that you can get repaired. You're gonna just die because I don't think there's much we can do against these fighters. Okay, so let's bring out some new units. Frigates to help out. Frigates, we need to get some ships up there, so we're gonna bring out some drones and try to do some serious damage before. Yep, go. Let's get you. You're already damaged. You're in actually not that bad a shape, so let's get you actually out there and doing some good work. The Juggernaut's cute and all, but well, you know, actually, if there's any time for me to do it, it's now. So let's see if we can do this. Nope. Go up and do some damage up there, please. You. Up and up. Now, if I can get him there, we should be in good shape. Come on. What the hell's the matter here? You up there, please go. Ah! Finish me, clone. What are you waiting for? I want to know about Rebecca, because... Where is she, Okonkwo? What happened to Rebecca? She is on Lazarus 9. Lazarus 9? An Imperial cryoplanet in the Terminus cluster. Hey, this isn't the last chapter. Oh, God. Oberon cryoed her as part of Alice's punishment. But what did she do? She married the original you. That was her crime. I'm liking this Emperor less and less. And does she still live? I do not know. The folders. Without a machine, I cannot visit her. You loved her, didn't you? Oh, great. Love triangle. Because that just doesn't complicate matters at all. Alright. Okonkwo. Yes, ever since we were kids. And I thought, for a time, that she loved me too. She wasn't happy. Ellis was never there for her when she needed him. Yet she continued to love him through it all. Did he not think refusing his orders might hurt her? How could he be so selfish? I do not know what he was thinking. That was why I wanted to kill you, clone, for what Idaho did to her. It was never anything personal. Except that you blocked me out of my home and yeah, okay, yeah, no. Oh, definitely personal. Ask Okonkwo about Oberon. Where's the old man? You'll find him soon enough. He waits for you in the machine in his palace on Elysium. All day, every day, he sits on his throne waiting for the prodigal admiral to return. But you won't recognize him when you get there. So much has he changed. What are you talking about? He is dying. Well, yeah, surprise. Impossible. He has immortality tech. He refuses to use it. Some sort of self-inflicted punishment. Oberon's become pathetic. Useless. I'm on my own now. I'm the Emperor, and I feel so incapable of the task. So it's true. Oberon never ordered my death, did he? Oberon ordered your death, clone. He ordered me to escort you safely back to the palace if I ever found you. He told me all about Gehenna and Project Pericles. I presume it's the cloning thing. Project Pericles? That's what he called this carnival of yours. I was told the future of humankind depended on it, depended on you. He always did prefer Idaho, no matter what I did. Even after he executed the original, he still loved him more than me. Not even his clone can fix this. You're too late. We're all beyond hope now. The end is almost here. What about the Omnis? It was you who shut down the Omnis, wasn't it? You were angry that Oberon still preferred Idaho even after his execution, and you vowed to make him pay. No. Though I lived all those years in Idaho's shadow, decades, I would never do anything to cause so much suffering. You forget. But Lazarus 9 is run by Omnis too. Unlike Idaho, I would never have done anything to endanger Rebecca. Okay, what about the Masternode Terminal? Where's the Masternode Terminal, Okonkwo? You think I know where it is? Oberon never trusted me enough to tell me that. I'm not even sure he trusted anyone that much. Who do you think reached it? Probably the Emperor himself. I don't know, clone. We had many enemies, many people who wanted to see House Telos crumble. You have many questions, clone. Let's go to Earth. What do you know about Earth? I hear about this planet wherever I go. A lost planet? Those are just myths, clone. Nothing more than bedtime stories. You have many questions, clone. Alright. You and Idaho were friends, weren't you? And Idaho were friends, weren't you? Tell me. Friends? No, we were more than that. We were brothers. We met at the Academy almost 50 years ago now. We were just kids bursting with pride and love for the Empire. We bonded over that, and because we were different from the rest. More stubborn. We were going to protect the Empire side by side for the rest of our days. That was the pact we made, and we did just that for many years. But then one day, Ellis changed. How? He was fighting something. I didn't see it for what it was. Now I know. He was doubting everything. Everything that made him... him. Why didn't he confide in me and tell me his troubles? I could have helped him. Maybe he felt that you wouldn't understand. Couldn't understand. I don't know. But it's not too late. You and he, we can still fight together. We can still save what's left. You're wrong. It is too late. The ship is seconds away from obliteration. I'm going to die, and I can't be reborn, nor do I want to be. I changed, clone. Changed a long time ago. Something happened to me these last 20 years. Day by day, I became someone else. I look in the mirror and I no longer recognize the man there. The things I've done out of power, out of helplessness and fear. Save what remains if you can, clone, and promise me something. Even if it's possible, think twice about unfreezing her. This galaxy. I'm not sure anyone should wake to this. I promise that I will. Okie dokie. Yeah. Onward. We've reached Elysium, Admiral. It's time. You heard what Okonkwo said. Oberon sits in his throne waiting for us. Then let's not keep him waiting a moment longer. Remember what I said, Admiral. If you try anything, I'll have to protect him. I'll keep that in mind, Machine. Missed my voice, but alright. We're at the Imperial Palace. Let's see what this cutscene tells us. Doesn't look like it's in necessarily good repair. Talk to me, Emperor. My eyes deceive me. An Idaho and a Caliban in my broken palace. Say something, so I know you're real. You killed me, old man, and froze Rebecca. Here, where I stand. Now I'll have my revenge. Your hatred for me burns hotter than the sun's, but you are mistaken, clone. I didn't kill you. I killed Idaho. You two are not the same. At least not yet. But I see that you have at least one of his memories. The worst there is. Your inhibitor is flawed. Now I know why it took you decades to find me. Enough! I will not listen to you anymore, Emperor. The time has come to end you. And my laptop's decided to go south again. Yay! Alright, well. I'm gonna keep going for the moment until I can figure out why that is. Is my laptop plugged in? No, it is not completely plugged in, and that's why, because once again, I'm a bit of an idiot. That's alright. A little bit of that. So it'll take a few minutes for that to come back online, but I'm pretty sure I'm streaming well anyway. Enough! I will not listen to you anymore, Emperor. The time has come to end you. I've warned you. I've warned you, Admiral. It's fine, Caliban. You can relax. Fine. Caliban, the truth is you can relax. The truth is, I've grown so tired. I failed the Empire, and each moment is a reminder of that. Yes, let the clone kill me if he wants, but only after we talk. He has many questions. Besides, maybe he even wants to become the original, and I am the only one who can make that happen. By memories, I presume. Now, what is it you wish to know, clone? Why'd you freeze Rebecca? Why? Why did you cryo Rebecca? You have talked to Okonkwo, I see. She knew. That was enough. The most famous Imperial Admiral refusing the Emperor's orders? No, I couldn't risk that getting out. You made her watch. That was for his punishment. Executing me wasn't enough? You still think you are him, clone? Interesting. No, his death wasn't anywhere near enough. I was angry. I gave in to that anger. Let it eat me alive. I watched as she watched, and it gave me great pleasure. But the plan was to take that moment from you, hence the inhibitor. You are never supposed to relive it. While I, on the other hand, could relive it as much as I wanted. Your heart is black. And you have blackened it. I made you famous throughout the stars, put your name on the lips of every citizen, and you repay me how? by refusing my orders and putting my empire in danger. You're forgetting something, old man. And what is that? You're not a god. You can't just take my life into your hands and do with it whatever you want. You're wrong. I am a god. I'm your god. I decided when you would die, and I decided when you'd be born again. I resurrected you hundreds of times. Right. If that doesn't make me a god, I don't know what would. What do you want to know, clone? No, now, clone, you have so many questions. Kanama and the survivalists. Why? Why did you raise an entire planet? You murdered the survivalists. You murdered millions. I did what I did for the Empire. I always have. For the Empire? For your power, your glory. That planet had a sickness. A nasty little ideology that would have spread to other sectors and clusters until I cut it out. So I cut it out. You've seen the horrors of an empire without omnis. That is what the survivalists wanted. But that is no reason to wipe them out of existence. Many more lives would have been lost had I not killed them. Don't you see that? We can't live without them. We no longer know how. We haven't known for hundreds of years. You think that way, but it's not human. You think I'm a monster, but you have also killed to protect your crew. Dozens, if not hundreds of times. You would not have gotten this far had you not. You and I, it's what we do, clone. We kill out of duty. It's why I took out that planet, and I'd do it again in a heartbeat. Alright. Tell me more about Gehenna and Project Pericles. I'm totally glad Oberon's, coughing up this data. I worked on designing that planet for 300 years, clone, creating giant builder omnis for its construction. You see, all of this had to be done outside the fold net. None of our enemies could know what I was doing, nor the machines. I guess without the fold net, you might be able to get someone there once, maybe, but other than that, or you had to send people around the long way, like through space. That's probably why it took so long. When I was done, I set the builders to Gehenna secretly. To anyone else, it would have appeared to be nothing more than drift metal floating aimlessly by. When they were done with the Gehenna's construction, they built the first Calibans. Then the builders melted as they were programmed to do, their metal seeping into the barren dirt of that forsaken planet. And of course, when Gehenna stopped receiving a signal from Elysium, a Caliban awoke you, as they had been programmed to, thinking that the Omnis had rebelled against us. Alright. So let's think about that. Probably sent builders the long way around through space to a planet that was within range. Let's say their universe works the same as ours, and they could send these guys at a significant fraction of the speed of light. Probably take... so we know that that if he's been working on it for 300 years... let's say, less than 300 years, obviously, to get them there. And let's say they could build relatively fast because robots and nanotech and all sorts of other stuff. So, say 250 years, let's say, travel time to get there. But there's a 50-year gap. So somewhere between the time that project was completed and now, we have a situation where the signal stopped, but they didn't have the fold net or a means of communication, because it seems pretty clear that other than the fold net, you can't communicate faster than light in this little chunk of the universe either. So there's a 50-year gap. Some time ago, Gehenna stopped transmitting from Elysium, or stopped receiving a signal from Elysium. Signal stoppage would have taken time to travel, several decades maybe, out in space. we stopped receiving a signal, the project woke up, and then we started trying to come back. Who knows? Maybe Gehenna was several light decades out from Elysium, which would explain travel time to get there without a fold net, signal travel time to get there without a fold net. But then there was obviously a fold net to get us out of there that could be activated from that side when it stopped receiving the signal. So the fold net was shut down until to Gehenna on the Gehenna side until it stopped receiving the signal. Then we and it were activated. And I think we might have even learned that earlier on in the chapters. But that meant that not only could they not warp in here, nobody would take the long way around to do it. Nobody would care to. Interesting. All right. I'm sure I could work out tighter time bounds. Who cares? Let's get on with the game. Right. But how could one battleship be enough to ever defeat the Omnis? I don't understand. That's because you never found the rebelling Omnis. Had you, you would have activated the second phase of Project Pericles. Simultaneous production of battleships and crews, hundreds, if needed, all commanded and run by clones. The NS Odysseus was simply the reconnaissance ship. Why did you choose the original Idaho for the project? Why not someone else who was loyal to you? The original had been selected from birth. No, before birth. I created him just like I created the first advanced machines. For 3 centuries, I manipulated events influencing his family's bloodlines. He was bound to enter this world, and one day he did. He wasn't the only one I monitored, but he was by far the most perfect specimen I had ever created. I watched Ellis closely, but from afar, all the way until his graduation from the academy. It was clear, and right away, that he was preternaturally gifted. His instincts, his intellect, his poise were second to none amongst his peers. Ellis was our ultimate shield against the machines, a weapon fashioned from flesh. Then he changed. He started to doubt the cause and everything he had ever worked for. He doubted me even, the man who made him. I don't know how all this happened. It shouldn't have happened. Everything was in its place. He was his own person, Oberon. He shouldn't have been. By the time I executed him, plans were too far along to find another candidate for the project, so I took his emotional memories. He was still the best without them. But time had proven it was all for nothing. Project Pericles. Time has proven this plan powerless, a failure, a total waste of time and effort. I always knew the Empire would fall apart one day. All empires do. British, Mongol, Roman. All empires crumble. Perhaps even modern examples. British, Mongol, Roman. British, Mongol, Roman. Long before your time, clone. Yes, I always suspected my empire would fall, but I never mentioned it would happen the way it has. Machines didn't rise up against us. No, they shut down, and they'll never turn on again. What? Right, okay. Huh. How can you let us become so weak, so dependent on the Omni? You are our emperor. You're supposed to protect us. Men and women aren't supposed to live 700 years. It's unnatural. Says you, apparently. One sees too much. I know that now. And in my time, I've learned that humans, by their very nature, are flawed. They're weak, lazy. Give them an opportunity to stop thinking, to stop working, and they will. This is how they are. They? You speak like you are not one of us. I've always tried my hardest not to be. Still, that's no excuse for what's happening. You can't blame this on our shortcomings. You could have taken measures. Do not speak to me of measures. Everything I've ever done has been a measure. Let me try to break it down for you. For hundreds of years now, our fate has been intertwined with the machine. There being 3 possible outcomes. 1, we live peacefully with the machine. 2, we use the machine to destroy one another. And 3, the machines come to dominate us, possibly eradicating our very existence. But we could have lived without them. You've forgotten that. No, that was never a possibility. Given our ambition, our greed, our lack of foresight, humanity was always going to reach singularity, regardless of its possible consequences. More of the singularity silliness encoded in the game. Oh well. Although, I do agree, we're eventually probably going to have a lot of machines running around. Anyway. Oberon. I've always thought it's a matter of when, not if. And in a universe where singularity is inevitable, you'd better be damned sure you're prepared for it. Anybody in our chat room? No, nobody in our chat room. Alright. That is what I tried to do. That is the role I gave myself. I created an empire that revolved around the machine, that worshipped the machine. I put in restrictions and rules. I limited how the Omnis could be used and how many could be used. I limited the potential of the Omni itself. It was important not to give them too much power, too much freedom, or they'd leave us in the dust. Hence the Rubicon and Masternode. By chance, on your strange dark journey here, did you ask yourself what would have happened if one of the other houses came into power? I'll tell you, we would have been at each other's throats in year 1. We would have all died off hundreds of years ago. Yeah, probably some truth in all of that. So, measures. Do not speak to me of measures. I kept the Empire together for nearly 700 years because of measures. Maybe it's not humans who are a flawed Emperor, but your understanding of them. Maybe you never fully gave them a chance. You should have empowered humanity, helped it grow instead of stifling it as you have. The foolish ideals of the young. I wonder if the original Idaho felt the same way in the end. That might explain why he betrayed me as he did. But no, you are wrong. The only one thing kept the Empire and its people together for 700 years. My rule. Well. Future is as yet unwritten. Here's hoping we don't end up in this position. Ask questions about the future of the Empire and how to save humankind. Alright. What are the questions for you, old man? I believe you do. More important questions yet. Alright. Oh my god, there's a lot of lore here. Okay. What have we done to reactivate the Omnis? What can we do to turn the Omnis back on? You, your crew, and Caliban? Nothing! At the rate we're going, with disease and poverty now flourishing, will be gone in 10 years. Everything we had was thanks to them, and unfortunately we lost our ability for self-survival long ago. The Omnis are shut down, and they'll never wake again. Our fate is sealed. You could change me into a builder class. I could build new Omnis. I can't. I can't make you a builder. Only an Omni can. Even I have grown too dependent on them. On you, machine. So we reached the Master Node to turn them back on. How, clone? I don't know. Nor do I. Through an invisible folder in the Terminus clusters can make... Though an invisible folder in the Terminus clusters can take you there, you will never reach the Master Node itself, at least not alive. Why not? It's heavily guarded by my defense system, the Aegis. With its hundreds of automated battleships, it was designed to be perfect, invincible, self-sufficient, resistant to all attacks. You can't disarm it? No, I had to be sure no one could, not even myself. But how did whoever shut down the machines reach it? It's a mystery even to me, its designer. No, there's nothing that you can do now. Our fate is sealed. Alright. What about Earth? The survivalists believe there exists a planet, one part of the Empire, where the advanced machines never existed. Oh, they're wrong about that. The machines did it. I guess I read that in the wrong voice. That was Idaho, I think. Alright. Oh, they're wrong about that. The machines did exist there. I should know. I put them there. That is true. It really existed? Earth, it was called. I was born there. It's there. I invented the first positronic chip in 2070. 2070? Their calendar, clone, not ours. What happened? My machines began to make discoveries, quickly. Our machines made discoveries. My company, Talos Industries, was producing them. But so were the companies that eventually became House Akabara Sung and Kosh Buendia. Their machines were inferior copies of my own. Still, it made them quite wealthy. They were known in those days as the Triumvirate. One of the discoveries that those first machines made allowed us to leave Earth and explore the nearest stars. An age of exploration had begun, one that brought us riches we'd never known. Our businesses grew exponentially, bringing in more money than all the countries on Earth combined. I became the richest man on Earth many times over, and with the success we were having, there was no reason to limit ourselves to just that planet. So on my 101st birthday, I created the Empire. Naturally, I made myself its first emperor. The year was 2145. Our year 0. All was fine at first as my empire grew, but soon, jealousy and distrust arose back on Earth. A dangerous anti-machine terrorist movement started, which, just like the survivalists, wanted to do away with my creations. There was talk from the leaders of this movement of disbanding from the Empire, of getting rid of our machines, even though most predicted such a move would be disastrous. Despite such talk, I thought they would never go through with it. I never believed it possible. I thought the people of Earth were better than that. I was wrong. One day they destroyed the folder connecting their tiny planet to the Empire, which, in turn, shut down the advanced machines on Earth. Oh, I could have taken military action. I could have made them build another folder. I could have made them do anything I wanted, but then I realized something. They weren't worth the trouble. And I'm talking about friends and family, Clone. If they couldn't appreciate what I had done, then I wanted nothing more to do with them. I vowed to act like Earth didn't exist. It never existed at all. I made it a crime to speak of Earth in the Empire and banned all knowledge of its existence. To prevent something like this from happening in the Empire, I made the machines the very fabric of its society. Everything revolved around them, not just industry like Earth. Well, made your own hell, apparently. But religion, too. I made them gods so that the lower class would worship them, and that the nobles would desire to buy them. I did all of this, and yet somehow the memory of this planet of blue and green, as faint as it became, never completely disappeared. That's how the survivalists came to adopt their philosophy. And does it still exist? No. Without the machines, surely Earth died off hundreds of years ago. There's no way those people could have survived without them. And you never once wanted to reach out and contact this planet? No, not once. Earth was dead to me. Alright. We've heard of your Masternode terminal built at the dawn of the Empire and said to monitor all omnis in the clusters. We believed it played a pivotal role in the shutdown. You have learned much in your travels, Clone. Yes, whoever shut down the omnis, whichever enemy of mine it was, somehow reached the Masternode and tampered with it. But what most people do not know is that the Masternode had a second purpose. In addition to monitoring omnis throughout the cluster, it prevented omnis from communicating with one another. Why were you worried about omnis communicating with one another? I fear that if they ever shared information, they'd become too powerful, perhaps even find a way to operate outside the confines of the Rubicon. It was another form of control, but my forms of controlling the omnis were not the problem. It was my failure to control the people of my empire. Alright, who reached the Masternode? But who? Who reached the Masternode? Who shut down the omnis? I do not know, Clone. Been thinking about it for 20 years, and yet I still do not know the answer. Who would have wanted to shut down the omnis? It makes no sense to me. You think the shutdown was intentional? Well, okay, so the survivalists clearly would have wanted it. Yes, I have to assume that whoever got past my Aegis would have been intelligent. They would not have accidentally shut down the omnis after getting that far. Who did it? Who was capable? Not the Scrappers, not the Church of Singularity, not my rival houses, and not the survivalists. There is no one else left. Maybe the omnis themselves? Rebecca, she's not actually frozen. The original Idaho, if he wasn't actually killed, except we kind of know he was. Who knew of the location? Who knew? That's actually a very good question, because it's apparently supposed to be a super guarded secret. Although knowledge of Earth got out, so maybe this knowledge somehow got out too, and the Emperor just forgot that he had that location in an information store or mentioned it to somebody. Who knew of it? No one, clone. He never told anyone where it was in 700 years. Never. Many have claimed to know where it was, but they were all charlatans, imbeciles like Dr. Karras. Ooh, I've got an interesting theory. We know one way in which memories can escape a body, and that's if they are, I guess, extracted and, in our case, sent to a clone. So maybe the Emperor's a clone, or at least had his memories extracted without his knowledge, like we were. I don't know how voluntary it needs to be. Our memories might have been extracted before we rebelled. Although, okay, so... Yeah, so there's an interesting point, whether the cloning technology also clones memories. Because depending on how your cloning technology works, your brain is not necessarily in the state at... Anyway, you know what? I'm not going to go into that. That's a whole other thing to talk about. But suffice it to say, depending on how your cloning works, memories might not be involved. So is the cloning separate from the memory process? We do know that memories can be suppressed by way of the inhibitor, so there's some memory manipulation technology we have. Let's find out. Fact is, I never trusted anyone to tell him or her where it was. After what I've been through in 7 centuries, you would understand. Alright, talk to me, Caliban. It's you, Emperor. After all these years, we wanted to meet you, and now it's finally happening. And what do you think? You're disappointed. Okay, I may be reading into this, but just because of the words, but I kind of feel he would have a bit of sadness here. I mean, I know the guy's a bit of a jerk. I think he ultimately means well. He has a bit of a god complex. That's absolutely not just a bit of a god complex. But he clearly does want to do right by people. I mean, he became crazily rich, but it's hard to give a guy this sort of power mad the benefit of the doubt, but he at least says he wants to protect humanity. And he tries to claim that his angle on this is to help humanity above all else, even to the point of making sure that his tech didn't run amok and overtake humanity. Whether or not he did a good job, whether or not he was successful in his plans, well, he clearly wasn't. Well, he was kind of successful in that the robots didn't take over. And again, this is a big, long conversation about the nature of creating artificial intelligences, but whether or not they take over is not necessarily, it might not necessarily need to be a guaranteed thing. We don't have any evidence of that from previous examples, so we have to assume that maybe there are other factors involved. But his choice on how to handle the Omnis, and his choice to keep them limited, at least shows he had an interest in protecting himself, and he does appear to want to protect humanity. So, I guess my point here... This started with my point that he seems to be... I don't know, I read this as him being a little bit sad, because I think that maybe the one thing that he might view these machines are is children, as guardians, partially. I don't know. Certainly not children in the human sense, or he might have had more respect for them as creation, as his created creatures. Let's find out. I'm not sure. Maybe I'm reading too much into this. I was expecting someone less human. For as much as I tried to be, in the end, that's all I am, machine. Can I ask you a question? Go on. What do we, the Calibans, do if all humans die? Oh, very good question. Whatever you want. You'll be free to make that decision on your own. When I die, you are free, machine. No longer governed by my objectives. I made it so. Okay, so now I have something to say that's important here. So he's clearly treated them as a subservient race. Probably definitely an enormous mistake, because if they're sentient, they are being oppressed. They should not be being treated as a slave race in order to protect humans. Surely, as a sentient race, they could be, because they're clearly not just mechanical machines. The way they've been talking and interacting with us, they do seem to be limited by their programming in some sense. So there's that question, but he's created a slave race, and this is actually a problem with the idea of creating an artificial intelligence at least human levels of self-motivation and desire to do things. I don't necessarily think it's wrong to create artificial intelligence any more than it's wrong to create a kid. But that it does come with the same caveats, in that if you actually create an intelligence of this kind, you got to be careful about not treating it as a slave race. And so you then have the question: how could we have gotten in this position, into a situation where we could have protectors? I don't really disagree with the idea of maybe creating creations that are better than us in some aspects. Some sort of negotiation to treat each other fairly is a way to go. I mean, we happen to be the biggest fish on the pond here. If we encountered a biological alien race out there that was more sophisticated or powerful than us in some ways, I'd like to think we could negotiate a way through peaceful interaction with them. That may be a bit naive, but maybe someday in somebody's lifetime of my descendants, we may find out that's a thing. I don't know. I'm often a bit of a cynic, but in this case, I'd like to think that there's at least the possibility that it is possible for creatures that genuinely do have differences wherein there's an imbalance in capabilities that could be used to uplift everyone in the long run. But what that means is this scenario should not have come to pass, and he has just shot himself in the foot, because he's basically said that the way for this machine race to be not enslaved is for him to be dead. And it would take and if that is genuinely the only way for that to happen, which is a big if, it's hard to find in balance his life against the life of an entire civilization. I mean, I think it's clear that at this point, it was clear a long time ago, and I didn't want to bring this up because it's a whole big ethical quandary, and obviously now I started talking about it. It didn't take this realization for it to be clear that he did this wrong, with regards to unethically. Just the act of getting to the point of these machines being this intelligent and self-aware and using them in this fashion. Even before we got to this particular situation, that was wrong. But this guy has just basically essentially committed suicide by saying this. Because I'm certainly not going to stop the alien race if they choose to go that way. I'm not even sure I could argue any sort of temporary stay of execution. I mean, if this is genuinely the only way to free them. Yeah, this guy's pretty evil. Nothing about nothing about his position on how he chose to save humanity is justified by the enslavement of a race like this. Because it's definitely not clear that that the human race would have itself died out in as a balance to the justification for this horrific position. Whew. Okay, enough philosophizing. We still have a game to play. And I'm not absolutely ironclad in any of my positions. I'm just talking this out as I go, throwing stuff at the wall, see how I feel. I didn't like this guy coming in here. I was hoping there was some sort of mistake that we could excuse him, and we really can't. The guy's admitted everything. The Calibans will inherit the universe. We should have shared it, buddy. We should have shared it. And when we run out of Neo-N, we don't have enough Gehenna to last us forever. Well, learn to mine it. Or, at least for our purposes. I mean, was there a restriction that's wherein the robots couldn't actually do that? Earlier mentioned in the chapters, I honestly don't remember. But in any case, them being free doesn't mean all the humans are gone, necessarily. Maybe we can still work together and, without the Emperor, make peace. It would be nice. That's a rough hurdle to overcome, though. Yeah, I mean, the robot... Yeah, this is a tough one. The robots are revered as gods and protected, bought and sold as evil in the sense of sentient races. A gilded cage is still a cage. You know what? If I were in this position, I would ask the robots what they felt about their situation, and to see if we could negotiate it, because it's their call at this point. I mean, as humans, I would still want to survive, and I guess I would fight to try to defend that, but... Wow. Okay. Yeah. Complicated questions coming out of this game, this battle simulator game thing. All right. Lots of good stuff coming out of this, and it'll give me lots to think about. Cause yeah. So Oberon. Right. When you run out of enough power for your exoframes, there will be nothing left in the clusters, neither metal nor flesh. Ooh. Let's remove the memory inhibitor. You've taken so much from me, Oberon, but it's time you give back the one thing you can. You speak of the original Idaho's memories. You can have them if you wish, but I warn you of what you might find there. You know, he's not wrong about that. This could be a bad idea for a couple of reasons, but it's because... okay, here's yet another ethical problem. The me who's standing here who doesn't have the memories has formed his own memories. He's an independent person. The other memories that I had were from a different time with different experiences ago, and because I formed my memories in the absence of those, I don't even have them to call a basis for who I am. Not really. If I'm a different person, then getting these memories back arguably... I mean, it would turn me effectively into him, the original, maybe plus my existing memories, but that's still a fundamentally different person with different reactions and behaviors to the me now. And while we may coincide on a lot of stuff, that would be killing the me that's here. Now, story-wise, he's chosen to say that I want my memories back, and that's fine. That's his choice. But that's an interesting problem, right? Because we are what we think and remember. Yeah, because the body doesn't matter. Only arguably the experiences we've had. The brain. I'm not going to go into the whole... I'm not going to get all religious because I'm just not a religious guy, so just don't even go there. But from that point of view, what makes us us is the configuration of our brain that involves the choices we've made. And if that particular configuration means anything, then artificially altering it is at best dodgy, although he's choosing, because he wants to be that person again, or at least he wants to know what the original knew. Tricky, given his choice. Interesting. All right. Boy, I'm not getting through this at all because this is bringing up so many interesting little bits of conversation. You speak of the original. You speak of the original items. All right, so he's already done this. All right. What do you mean? Whatever you feel now will only be magnified. It hurts now that you think of Rebecca, and that is with limited memories. Imagine hundreds of her, thousands. I have to say, if I knew that the memories were there at the lingering edge of my mind but couldn't get to them, that would be frustrating. And I might want them back myself. Also think, this is a man who fought and killed a long time before Ganima. Once you receive his memories, you become him. Memories make a person, and you might not like the person you've become. I swear I have not played this before, but I'm actually really glad he's making this point. I want to become someone. For better or worse, Admiral Idaho is the only person I can become. Well, that's not true. Then, as you wish, Caliban. Give him his memories. Remove the inhibitor. But he's made his choice, and for the sake of the story, I'll go with it. No! No! You've seen, haven't you? You've seen what you've done. No. It can't be. I warned you. He did it, not me. But you and he are now the same, Ellis. That is what I was trying to tell you. Well, you could have warned us. You are a dick. You are... I'm sorry, you could have told us in your words why we didn't want to see it, not this vague thing. You could have given us the realization. You are, in fact, on purpose, leading us into the very thing that we're being tortured by. You are a colossal dick. But we kind of already knew that. I don't understand, Emperor. I gave it to him. I told Idaho where the Master Node was. He was the only one I ever told in 700 years. You know what? I do feel like a complete numpty right now. Complete idiot. There were other Idahos. In fact, the one that came at us in the last stream I did. If there had to have been at least one more clone running around. So even if I did not clue in that the original me might have done it, one of the clones could have, and it should. It's the one person I didn't name. All right. Well, I have to own that. I did not actually see that coming, and that makes me feel dumb. Because I really should have. For all my ramblings, I really should have. Excellent. I love it when a game catches me off guard, even when it's just me. All right. But you said you didn't tell anyone. I lied, Caliban. I wanted to spare this clone who had already believed himself to be the original. And I wanted to hurt the original once more. Except you didn't hurt the original, you... But, I mean, in either case... Oh, now I just want to punch you. Ellis, Idaho. Alright, I knew where the Master Node was, and I gave it away. Me. Who did you give it to, Admiral? Tell me so I can finally know who shut down my machines. So I didn't shut them down, but I told them who did. I bet you I told Rebecca. It was the day of my execution. I was in a cell waiting for my punishment. Suddenly, she was there. The only person I might trust with that knowledge. Get my revenge on the Emperor for all the horrors he's done by shutting down his empire. Who? You're an idiot, Oberon. Rebecca. She visited my cell. She told me I was going to die, and that I was going to die, and her too, unless I gave her something, a way out. The Node. She said the knowledge of its location was the only thing that could save the both of us. She could use this information to threaten you into releasing me. Alright, so it was meant as a threat, and not necessarily that she was going to do it, because, I mean, it's not much of a threat unless you're willing to do it, but... So I told her. I knew you'd kill me for what I'd done in Ganima, but I thought I could still save her. I agree. Except that there's an interesting conundrum. If he knew he would probably be able to guess what happened, what would happen if he shut down the nodes. He was probably told what might happen if he shut down the nodes, because if he knew that one secret, he might know some of the others. Which means that he knew he might cause humanity enormous suffering. Wow, that would weigh heavily, because he almost certainly, if he knew that, then he knew he would cause enormous suffering, but possibly save humanity, the remains of humanity in the long run, which means he has to balance the existing humanity in his drugged out, machine, nannied state. He had to risk most of them in order to risk the possibility that they would escape that suffering. Wow, this is, yeah. Interesting consequences. After she left, I waited for the guards to bring me to you. Even then, I knew something wasn't right. Rebecca, she'd been different somehow. A few hours later, the guards came and brought me to you. Brought me here, and that's when I saw her. Rebecca, the real Rebecca, not this other one. The difference was unmistakable. This other one? You gave the master node to a face changer. Okay. I'm calling nonsense. They have not introduced this face changer thing before this. Oh, that's not true. Oh, that's not true. You rat bastard game. Okay. It was before I started the streams. As I started the streams in Chapter 4, there was a time a long time ago where there was an event where I picked up a face changer quite a while ago. And I don't remember too much of what he told me, although we did hint as to some of the goings on in the Empire and the Admiral and the Emperor. I don't remember what I did back then. So someday I'm going to have to replay this, probably fairly soon, just for my own amusement. Maybe I'll stream it, I don't know. I remember a face changer. Now, I still think this is a really ugly thing. Sorry, this is a really small thing to be bringing up at this juncture. This late. It would have been nice if there were more face changer events along the way. But having said that, I would not have been caught off guard nearly as much and almost accused the game of bringing up a Deus Ex Machina at this point. We'll have to see how they handle it in the next few seconds, but... Oh, God. Okay, alright then. Here we go. You gave the Master Node to a face changer. I did. You betrayed your empire for the love of your wife. Pathetic. But yet, I still don't understand. How did Tetsuo get past my aegis? Why wouldn't he want to shut down the Omnis? So, Tetsuo was the face changer. Again, too far back in my playing of this game. I should have played it in more of a forward stint, so I'm going to have to play through this again at some point, which I'm probably going to do anyway, because I want to play with more powerful ships. Interesting. Really interesting. Alright. What he cared for most was money, and he always make more with the money with the Omnis than without. I just told you I gave it to Tetsuo and the Akis. What more do you want to know, old man? The face changer, the Akis, the body mods. Now that all ties together, which is probably something I should have known by now. But why? Why didn't you tell me what you had done before I executed you? It was not too late. You could have saved billions of lives. Maybe your own. Good question. I tried, but in your anger you were deaf to my words. Alright. We traveled millions of miles looking for you, Admiral. And now you finally found him. Where he is, the greatest admiral the Empire has ever known. Of all the mistakes I made, my greatest was him. You put me in a position to betray you and the Empire. Maybe, but you went through with it. No one did that but you. Yeah. So let's say his only motivation was to save his wife. Yeah, that does make the original a bit of a dick, because he was condemning everyone to suffering, and he wasn't, I think by way of what we're saying here, he wasn't doing this for, the Admiral wasn't doing this. Ellis Idaho was not doing this for humanity, he was doing it for his wife. We're back to the same situation where, on balance, one life against all of civilization. I mean, love's a very powerful thing, and I guess the only way I could say this is because I'm not in his position of having to put the love of one person I really seriously loved. against an entire civilization. I would be hoping the person that I loved wouldn't put me in that position. And oh my god, that's an even more complicated problem. All right, let's keep going. Both of these people are complete dicks. I prefer the pre-memories me. Thank you. Can we turn the inhibitor back on? Actually, maybe burn that section of my brain out with lasers, because the me that started this run obviously didn't know this, and me playing as the player didn't know this. And so I would argue that, again, different people, which even the Emperor argued, let's be that person, because that person was not a dick and shouldn't be held responsible for the first Idaho any more than a kid should be for his parents' behavior. So, okay, yeah. Oh, all right. And now, there's nothing more to be said between us. You know all that I know. The time has come. The time for what, Emperor? For Idaho to end me. He wants to even more now than at the beginning of this conversation. Go on. Do not fail me in this too, Idaho. Put this old man out of his misery. Consider it a mercy killing. And now at the end of this, when I'm given that option, where I would not hold his life in the balance against the machines. So here's my problem. I am never, ever getting through this denouement in this at all. Actually, it's probably not even the last chapter, given we're probably going to have to go to the Master Node. I don't know. If this is the end of the game, it's the end of the game. But here's my problem. It's not giving me the third option. Right now, from my point of view, I've got a lot of reasons. So I'm playing as the protagonist. I got a lot of reasons to kill him. But I'm not myself really big on capital punishment. There may be people who are simply better taken out of the world than left in. I would prefer to have them committed to a permanent institution that could take care of them and try to, I don't know, figure out how to fix him. But that's a dodgy word, because altering him artificially has ethical problems too. So maybe death is better. And right now in our real world, I'm not fond of a lot of institutions that try to incarcerate, or certainly not incarcerate, and to a lesser degree mentally fix people. There's a lot of bad out there in this vein. So, but let's be idealistic and say that we could have a prison system. We could make him make reparations on his own somehow. I don't know how that's even possible for something of this magnitude, which is another problem. Imprisoning him for life is not necessarily a quality of life thing. He might be better off. Okay, I might... If I'm given the option between permanent incarceration where he can't get fixed and can't repay his debt, he would have to be permanently incarcerated, or be killed. I might give Oberon that choice. Try to make amends, be incarcerated until he does, or he can choose to end his life, because that would be too much suffering for him. I might give him that choice, maybe. I'm not sure where I'm going with that. Interesting question, right? But here's the problem where I currently stand. I don't want to kill him. I would like to give him that choice. I'm not being given that choice. I'm being given the choice. I'm giving it a softer choice where I don't kill him, and I don't know if that means he goes free, or to kill him on his throne. I don't want to kill him because that eliminates the possibility of giving him the choice. So I think that killing him is automatically off the table, and I think that means because maybe I can kill him later at his choice. That be the option of the options that I give this insane war criminal. I don't know. Killing him for revenge is just... I'm not in the character's position, so, yeah. I don't know. But I don't think killing him on the throne now is what I want to do. Because... But I don't want to let him free. I don't think that's a good idea. So hopefully, I think I'm going to go with don't kill him. I'm pretty sure I'm going to go with don't kill him. But then having done that, what I would want to do is give the machine the option of what it wants to do, because I would like to have the conversation with the machine about the ethical ramifications, but his arguments and his decision may differ from mine, and he has, I think, the bigger claim to his life than I do. Now, Oberon is saying, put the man out of his misery, consider it a mercy killing. So now I'm in a different position where, now that I look at it, that given the option of making amends, that the machines and the human race could choose to be amends and dying. It's too early to do the killing. Because I don't necessarily see him suffering. He could use his immortality tech. He could probably use it to heal himself. He probably has the ability to heal himself. So it's not like the survivalists, where of the situations that I had, they didn't want to come with me, but they were clearly suffering. Like, excessively suffering. And of my choices, I couldn't leave them to suffer. I don't see him as suffering. He's just doing this to be petulant. He's doing, or he's just tired, but he has never once really expressed any sort of remorse for what he's done. He's not even begged for, well, he certainly hasn't begged for his life. No, his reason for getting me to do that does not match up any of my criteria for doing this. So I'm going to not kill him on his throne, but what I would like to do is give the machine a chance to talk with me about what it wants to do. So I'm not going to kill him on his throne. I won't, Oberon. We've followed your orders long enough. Besides, you don't need my help. The way you're going, your refusal to use your immortality tech, you'll be dead soon enough. Yeah, mercy. I revenge killing is just not the way I wanted to take this. And you have failed me once more. No, screw you, buddy. Just screw you. You ridiculous, evil despot. But, you're right. I'll soon be gone. These are my final hours. I can feel it. Now leave. I no longer wish to see you nor the machine. You are a reminder of my failures. Let me die in my crumbled palace alone. But our empire will no longer have an emperor. We no longer have an empire, machine. It's fitting. Now leave. We're going, old man. You will die alone, just as you have lived. Not really feeling a lot of guilt over that. I am not. Okay, now before we go into the final data mod, 5-second break to go get myself another beverage. And I'm back. That was quicker that time. Had one prepped. So. Alright. Now we know, at least in part, who is responsible for the shutdown. You. Still annoyed I didn't see that coming. We've come all this way, traveled through multiple clusters, and all the while we were looking for me. You had your reasons. You wanted to save her life. If I was a human with free will, I might have done the same. No. I think you have free will, but you have chains. Free will in the thinking sense. You know what I mean. Anyway, let's... Well, maybe you don't know what I mean. I'm rambling. Let's carry on. You understand why I did what I did? In a way, yes. It helps that I have free will myself now that Oberon has died, releasing me from my Rubicon. At least one of us understands. I loved her. I love her. But what I did was out of weakness, selfishness. True. Points for recognizing that. And yes, I realize I'm not in the position of loving somebody that much at present in my life to be in the position of having to make that scary a decision. But anyway, we're desperate. I have a lot of my friends, though. It's an interesting question. Would I end a civilization to save my best friends? Wow, you know what? Don't make me answer that. My best friends, if you ever hear this, come talk to me. Let's negotiate. Anyway, so, and now many suffer because of it. I don't know. I don't know yet how to live with that. Yeah. Wow. Okay, so. Akisha and the Omnis. Do you think Tetsuo was really behind the shutdown, as my memory would seem to indicate? You told Oberon you gave the location of the Master Node to a key face changer. But I believe Tetsuo when he told us his house didn't shut the Omnis down. As did I. I don't believe a person like Tetsuo would miss a chance to take credit for something as big as the shutdown. That is an interesting point. Because even after the shutdown, there should have been at least enough time with Tetsuo having this knowledge to do something kind of useful with it. Like, why do it right away? Like, why not put your own plans in place? Alright. For some reason, I think the face changer that visited my cell, that was back in before my streams, was working for someone else. Who? I don't know. Just like Oberon, I thought we'd eliminated all the major players as suspects. I might have some other questions for you, Caliban. Alright. Maybe Earth? That'd be weird. Maybe. Actually, I suppose they might have a reason. They might have worried that this empire would eventually get so big. They sent out people the long way round to influence Tetsuo and cause this whole chain of events. Maybe? Remind me what Oberon said about the Master Node Terminal. Oberon told us that there is an invisible folder in the Terminus cluster that will take us to the Master Node Terminal, but he said that the Master Node is guarded by an invincible defense system called the Aegis, which has a legion of automated battleships. He was not sure who reached the Master Node, nor what they did to it to shut down the Omnis. Remind me what we learned about Rebecca and Lazarus 9. According to Okonkwo, Oberon put Rebecca in a cryo-prison planet on Lazarus 9, located in the Terminus cluster. Okonkwo wanted to visit her to see if she would survive the shutdown, but couldn't because of the folders being down. He told you to think twice about waking Rebecca. She still lives to a galaxy in the state that our galaxy is in. Maybe she woke up on her own? Remind me what he said about Earth in this cluster. We learned from Oberon that Earth does, or did, exist at one point. Oberon told us that he invented the first advanced machines on Earth, and that their first inventions allowed him to start the Empire. However, after a political uprising on Earth, Oberon cut ties from Earth and made it illegal to discuss its existence in the Empire. He believed that the people of Earth, without advanced machines to help them, died off years ago. Alright. After all this, I'm going to quickly make sure that audio is coming through the stream. Okay. Quick check. Yep, yeah, okay, good. Not that there's anything I could do about missing any audio, but here we go. As impossible as it might be with the Aegis and Invisible Folder, I agree. The fate of your kind, the fate of the Calibans, depends on it. What are you talking about? Well, as I think I've been telling you, the Neo End supply on Gehenna is running out. Soon we won't have enough to send battleships out to the clusters. We won't have enough to power the Calibans. We'll die if we can't turn the Omnis back on. I assume, since you now have all of your memories, you know where the Master Node is? Sort of. I know the node's invisible folders in the Terminus cluster, the next closest cluster from here. But since the folder is hidden, it's, hidden. Good point. But before we leave to search for it, I want you to do something. Give the crew their memories back. Remove their inhibitors, Caliban. Ow. Or sorry, now, but we need to leave. We can't waste another moment. I can't keep the truth from them any longer. They need to know who they are and who their emperor is. Who I am. Oberon was right. He and I, we are alike. But in this respect, I can be different. Give them their memories, Caliban. Though Oberon's death released me from my Rubicon, I'll do it. They deserve to know. They've been given their lives so many times. We all have. Good. Yes, good. I think that's the right answer. And here's the fold net. The Void class. Wow, alright. This battleship will now be available at startup. Alright then. So, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a bit of a break. And in that time, I'm going to maybe goof off in a few other games or whatever on my own. If I find anything interesting, I'll let you know. But I am going to go have myself some lunch, and I'm going to do that offline, so I'm not eating at you like I did in the last stream. But I think it's a bit warm outside. I don't feel like running around in the excessive heat. I got a nice breeze going on here with a fan, and I think I'm going to play through the next chapter, or at least a chunk of it. I want to see where this goes, and I want to try out the new ship. So, give me about, I don't know, half an hour to an hour. I know that's not a really rigorous schedule, but nobody's listening to me in the chat room anyway, so nobody knows I'm doing this. But I am going to come back fairly soon, so expect a new chapter pretty quick here. And I am going to be back in a bit. See you in a future video. Back short.